Hello, how are we going? Thank you so much for the intro. Awesome. So I had to get my slides prepared a few days earlier. They were, pumping me to get the slides done. So I put this slide just in case, but we didn't do it. We didn't quite get there. It was a prediction a week ago. We weren't quite there. We're teetering, hopefully this weekend. Maybe at the yacht party. That'll be super fun. So my name is Ben Simpson, and today I'm going to be diving into strategy. So we're going to be looking at my investment strategy for this bull market. We're going to be looking at some of the market analysis and projections that the team and I put together. The top mistakes to avoid and to make profit this cycle. I actually did a similar presentation a year ago, and it's funny how, going from a bear market to a bull market, the mistakes really changed. I'm going to go through those. I'm going to help you create your own investing strategy. We're going to do a live strategy session, so hopefully you can walk away with actually something tangible today. And I'm going to give away our 10-step crypto strategy PDF template that I've been using for a number of years and we work with all of our clients with. Now, who is this session for? Honestly, if you're here to take it seriously, right, I'm not the Moon Lambo guy, but I am going to try and give you some really good risk to reward investments, some strategy to try and really dial in and make a bunch of money this next year or so. If you're absolutely sick of the shit that's online on TikTok and some of the YouTubers, I'm going to really try and give you some independent analysis. And if you've been through one or two cycles and you haven't made any money yet, hands up if you've been and round-tripped a cycle. Awesome. I did the first time. Awesome. Whose first bull market is this? Fantastic. And any OGs in the room? Any prior to 2016 folks? Awesome. Crushing it. Well done. And if you don't want to fuck this up, that's what I'm trying to talk about. Okay, so this is me. This is when I first started in business, really. This is me in Tassie. This is the Launceston Airport. I used to share a bunk bed with my brother. I come from a low socioeconomic family, and it was always taught about money. So the boxes to the left was my first business. I used to make sports uniforms out of China and sell them to sporting teams back in Tasmania. Now, when you're a 15-year-old sending a lot of money to China every month, the banks start to ask some questions. And essentially it was taking a month for money to arrive and to convert into Chinese local currency. And I started to look at alternatives, and that's where I first got into Bitcoin. Now, I then started working for a crypto influencer who I don't work with anymore. And I saw how the incentive models were with YouTubers and I guess people that create content online. It's all about affiliate links, paid promotion, non-disclosure agreements. It's the Wild West. These guys essentially need your eyeballs to watch their stuff and click on their links, and that's how they make money. Now, there are some really good influencers, 100% there is, but the majority are really bad. And it comes down to incentives. Now, I lost a lot of money with the guy I used to work with. I was in huge debt. I started Collective Shift. I essentially sold a lot of my crypto, and the only way out was to try and build this business. And I truly believe we needed somewhere in Australia where we could get independent quality analysis, and that's where Collective Shift was born. We're now 4.5 years in. We raised some money a couple of years ago to push education in Australia. I did the first crypto TEDx talk a couple of years ago on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I actually met Vitalik a few years ago. He came to Sydney back in 2018, if anyone was at ETHCon back in the day. And ETH was at $80, and all the conversation was when was it going to get to 100? And I wish I bought a lot more at $80. The other photo was Thursday night. I won the Community Leader of the Year award and then drank way too much champagne and I smashed the trophy. So that's whoops. Now, essentially, I've gone through all of this, but my business, Collective Shift, we have over 1,000 paying clients. I've been doing this for 8 years now. I have made pretty good money personally, and I genuinely love helping other people because I see so many people not do it right, and that's what I want to try and help you all today. That's our team. We've got about 15 people now, which is crazy. And some of you may not actually know, we actually produce a lot of the research for a lot of the crypto exchanges in Australia and across the world. So these are some of our clients that we work with. Okay, enough chit-chat. Chris Judd, who's a footy fan, AFL fan, Carlton supporter. No, good, boo, we're in Sydney. He runs his own fund, and we have a lot of high net worths now that use the platform to help them with their crypto research, essentially. Right, so how do we look at the market? So a lot of influencers tend to focus more on technical analysis. There are some good TA analysts out there, but we really try and focus on the fundamentals and the sentiment. Really right now, the meta is all about narratives, and narratives drive markets, and that's where we've been really good at firing off some really good analysis based on some of these early projects that are coming through, which I'm going to share with you today. But the key thing is, the biggest question I've been getting this weekend is is the retail here, Ben? Are we there yet? And I definitely think the retail is here, but I fundamentally think we're going a long way higher. I've been speaking to a lot of the exchanges over the last few days. The volume that the Australian exchanges are getting is around the same size as March this year, but nowhere near the peak of 2021. Right, 2021, for those who were here, was just absolutely chaos. And I do expect we're going to see something like that, but even higher. And I'll talk about that in a second. Now, it's a very scary saying to say this time is different. I don't like saying that too much. But I truly fundamentally believe that this time is different. The institutions, we've never seen the level of inflows that are coming right now. And off the back of the US changes with policy and Trump, we're starting to see some massive institutions getting involved. MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor is literally teaching companies how to buy a heap of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. It's one of the best moves businesses can do. And as fiat continues to get debased, I believe Bitcoin's going to $1 million in the next 10 years. I really do believe that. That's not clickbait. I genuinely think that. Now, we're right in line with previous bull markets. So essentially what we've been saying for a long time, that Q4 this year was going to be the best quarter. Q4 is always historically the best quarter for crypto. But on a Bitcoin halving year with a US election, it was set up for success. Now, if Harris got elected, probably a different story. But we got Donald Pump, and we're all pretty happy. All right? Not sure about the rest of the world, but it's good for crypto. So I think my prediction is we've probably got another 6 to 9 months left in this bull market. But we're not yet taking profits, right? One of the best metrics and analysis tools in the game, in my opinion, is on-chain analysis. This is the MVRV ratio. It's essentially looking at the market value versus the realized value ratio. So it's basically looking at how much money is in profit in the market versus the price that it's being sold for. In the red line there, you can see the previous 4 cycles has pretty much nailed the bull market. The first 2 were a lot higher, but I believe that this is going to be a really good metric for us to understand when people start taking profits in Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin whales are a great indication of like when the money starts to flow and when it's a good time to start selling. However, what tends to happen is that whales start selling their Bitcoin into altcoins. And I believe that's going to start coming. These are the sector returns so far this month. Right, so pretty much everything so far has been meme coins, RWA, and the next-gen layer 1s. Meme coins are all the meta right now. The kids are into it. There's Twitch streamers. Everyone's onto meme coins. I personally wasn't a big meme coins fan a couple of years ago. Very much a fundamentals guy. Meme coins essentially don't have that much fundamental value, but they have community, they have narrative, they have cult-like followings, and they have belief. And that's what we're seeing right now. So meme coins have been positioned really well. I'm going to share with you my top 3 memes in a second. And the next-gen layer 1s, essentially ETH killers, right? Solana, Sui, Berachain, these other platforms have really been performing extremely well. Now, this chart, right, in 6 months is going to look a lot different. I believe the money will rotate once the Ethereum once Ethereum starts to perform well. I believe the narrative's going to start switching, right? Switching back into utility projects, back into AI, maybe gaming, maybe Metaverse. But for those that have been here for a long time, you've probably understood that like these narratives move so fast. Like 6 months ago, it was all AI. 12 months ago, it was all Metaverse. Now you can look at the performance right here. Like AI is pretty much flat. Gaming's down. NFTs are not good. But the narratives switch, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today to help you set up a proper portfolio. So I'm just going to share you my stuff, how I do it. I'm not going to share you all the coins because that's how people pay us money. That's how I pay the bills. But I'm going to show you some stuff. So my portfolio right now, I really focus on risk to reward, right? When you have a large portfolio, like let's say you're $1 million plus, in my opinion, you don't need to bet the farm and risk all your portfolio on super like risky stuff, yeah? Bitcoin's compounding at 45% a year, compounded for the last 10 years. And yes, I think that'll go slightly smaller, but if you've got $1 million in Bitcoin by the end of this cycle, you're set for life. At a minimum, you're going to be making $450,000 if based on historical performance every year. So my belief is that the goal of this cycle is to really build up your Bitcoin stack, and we can do that through altcoins. But long term, I believe Bitcoin is going well into the hundreds of thousands. Now the altcoins, you really want to keep it focused and simple. If you've worked with me before, if you remember, are really simple over complex. With a simple portfolio in a bull market, it becomes a lot easier to sell. If you have a really complicated portfolio, it can be really hard to figure out which coins to sell. I'm going to talk about that again in a second. Now my goals, I am, actually hands up, who else is 99% plus exposed to crypto? Cool. Yeah, there's a few degenerates, that's for sure. Awesome. So I'm currently 99% exposed to crypto, have been for the last 8 years. And the top of this cycle, my goal is to literally diversify and hold Bitcoin and property for life, right? Now, altcoins in a bear market get absolutely crashed, right? Absolutely just pummeled. Most altcoins will go down 90-95%. So you really want to make sure you get out of those altcoins and rotate either into stable coins or some other things, which I'll talk about soon. But the short term, I think over the next 6 to 9 months, there's going to be some great opportunities in altcoins. But one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they try and add more risk to their portfolio. They have a lot of cash, they buy a bunch of altcoins, and it's underperforming Bitcoin. Like, you're taking on so much risk by buying all these altcoins when Bitcoin continues to grow and is just killing the market. So you need to be really selective. Now, my sales strategy. Again, hands were up about who round trip. Sales strategy is probably the most important part. This is for me, by the way. This is my notes. Don't be a hero. A lot of people try and pick the top of a market. We did some research, our team, on like how long the top of the market actually stays at the top. For Dogecoin last cycle, Dogecoin was at the top 10% for less than 5 hours. Right? Solana was in the top 5 or 10% for about 4 or 5 days. And then Bitcoin, you had it for about a week or two in the top 10%. So the lower you go down the market cap or the more volatile the asset, the less time you have. Right? So if you're waiting 4 years for like 3 hours, good luck, all right? That's why I say don't be a hero. Altcoins, my goal is to get rid of every single altcoin. Maybe I keep some Sol, some ETH, we'll see, and keep a long-term Bitcoin stack. I do believe we go into another bear market and we're going to have massive corrections on the way up. It's not just north only. If it's your first cycle, be prepared to wake up and your stomach just, is sick when you see a 30% correction. That's normal. In the last bull market, we had 12, 10% plus corrections. All right, sometimes down to 30 or 40%. That's super normal. Now, Matt, I had a research, he just spoke before. This guy's one of the smartest guys in crypto. We've always felt that the best investments are in the bear market, right? We're beyond that. These sort of returns, unless you're in super tiny stuff, are not possible right now. However, your goal should be, in my opinion, to stack as much cash and stable coins as you can for the next cycle, because these are the opportunities you can get in a bear market. In a bull market, the market's saturated, everyone's looking for these investments. I think right now, I'm a big fundamentals guy, like, DeFi I'm a big fan of, but the narrative isn't there, the meta isn't there. Ethereum's done nothing. I hold a bunch of Ethereum. But I also realized this about 6 to 12 months ago and started to allocate against it. And I'll talk about the mistakes soon, chasing these narratives is difficult. You really want to be in these narratives ahead of time. And I truly believe next year, the narrative will come back to Ethereum, it'll come back to DeFi, it'll come back to Metaverse and gaming, which we'll, again, touch on in a second. The next-gen layer ones has been a big move, right? Solana, Sui, these are these ETH killers. They're sexy, they're new, they've got new features. Ethereum's kind of dead, it's old, it's boring. Retail investors don't like investing into things they think is old or expensive. But if you can find these narratives and find them at the right time, you can really make life-changing money. Okay, so I just invested in 3 meme coins on November 7th. I don't go anything outside the top 100 with memes, just purely because I've got a shitload going on, and I know a lot of you are busy. So unless you're full-time in this space, I really would recommend trying to keep it above top 100, top 200. My 3 memes, I'll share these. Here we go, now we're pushing the memes. I own these, by the way, full disclosure. Pepe, I think, is going to be the best performing one on ETH. This is the top 100. Pepe, Whiff, and Popcat, right? Solana memes has been all the narrative. I think Popcat potentially is going to be listed on Coinbase, maybe. If it does, we've seen what happened in the last couple of weeks. We're now really in a bull market. When these major exchanges start listing coins, that's where things really go. The next gen layer ones as well. My mum messaged me the other day. She said, "Ben, what coin should I buy?" Right? Anyone that I, that I give, recommendations to, friends, family, I really think sticking with the majors right now and having a smaller allocation of those meme coins is important. If you have a lot of money or you want to add more money to the market and considerable amount, I think still sticking with Bitcoin is the most important thing. But the next gen layer ones, I think Solana, Sui, Berachain when it launches are going to do really well. So the key investor focus right now, like Bitcoin is the thing. Bitcoin is getting the majority of the focus. When the mind share is on something, the other coins really underperform. Bitcoin has crushed Ethereum over the last 3 years. And I do expect once we get through 100,000, I wish we could have celebrated, it would be fun. Maybe tomorrow. I think Bitcoin's going to continue running, and honestly, Bitcoin is the key to freedom, right? Below that, memes, as I mentioned, next gen layer ones, and we're really looking on the sector rotation. The ETH BTC pair is really important. ETH BTC pair is just essentially the the value between each other. Now, if you look at 2021, the altcoin season really ran right. When the ETH BTC broke out, when people started taking profits from Bitcoin into Ethereum, that chart went vertical, and that's when you see altcoins do 50, 70, 100% in a day. When that happens, tends to give us a good signal that we're nearly at the end of the bull market. Now, this is where it becomes difficult because most of your returns will be in the last month of a bull market with altcoins, but it's also the hardest time to sell because you're making a shitload of money and you're going to feel like an idiot for selling, right? A recent study said that 89% of people in crypto lose money, right? I think this place holds 1,000 people. That's 890 people of you are going to lose, right? But you're not because you're listening to this, so we're going to win. But like everyone out there, right, that's normal because we don't have a sell strategy. We get too excited and we start to get a bit euphoric. So here are the top mistakes that I think you should avoid. These are the ones that, I certainly made when I first started. And if it's your first cycle, pay really close attention to these. Chasing coins and narratives. This is the big one. It's happening right now. Ben, should I sell ETH for Sol? Should I sell this for that? As soon as you start chasing coins, you get chopped out and lose. For those people that have been here for a long time, when you feel the worst, when you feel as though you're an idiot on a coin and no one's looking at your coin, it's usually at the next day after you sell that things switch, and then then you feel even worse. So the big thing is you want to make sure you got money in coins before they pump. Now that's obvious, cool, good one, Ben. But what I'm trying to say is don't start chasing the market, if that makes sense. Let the market come to you. Not taking profits or no sell strategy. This is really important. Obviously, if you don't take profits, you're not going to win. Really, honestly, take profits this cycle. I see so many people in previous cycles change their goals. Now, I've done changing goals before, but you really want to be logical about them. Don't make them emotional. Really have a sell strategy, which I'll help you in a second. Trying to become a trader. Every man and his dog wants to become a trader in a bull market. Guess what? Fucking easy to make money when it goes up, right? Making and becoming a trader is super difficult. I'm not a trader. Way too emotionally invested. I'd be terrible at it. You've got to have the self-awareness. There's a lot of people that sell the dream of becoming a trader. And some people are really good at it, right? But you need to know yourself. I see a lot of people try and become a trader in a bull market, and then the reverse happens. Speaking about goals and sell targets, try and make the goals really personal. Again, we're going to get to the live strategy session in a second, but try and make a goal really personal. What are you actually going to do with the money? If you sell, could you actually build a house or pay off the mortgage or do something really valuable? I find if you have that goal in mind, it makes it way easier to sell. I made most of my money in the Metaverse back in before Facebook renamed to Meta, was able to get out 30 or 40x returns. I felt physically sick and nauseous when I made the sell, right? It feels everything in your body is telling you not to sell. That is the time to sell. Comparing yourself to others, man, this is just this hits home outside of crypto, but in crypto, you're never going to have the biggest bags, right? You're never going to be the richest guy in the room. And as soon as you start comparing yourself to others, you're always going to feel like you're not making the right trades. You always need to stay in the market. And again, the biggest thing that you're going to fight against this cycle is your head, right? Psychology is a massive thing because as the money and the market goes up, you think you're a hero. You think you're going to be rich forever. The market's always going to go up. It's not true, all right? You really need to take those profits. Now, this can actually be worse. You take profits and then you buy back too early. This is like macro cycles. I see a lot of people, the market's going to go absolutely bananas. You'll take profits, and then 4 days later, the market will crash. You're like, oh, I'm going to buy the dip. And then it's just going to keep going for another year, all right? You really need to be patient. I like to look at a really long-term view, and if you can look at macro cycles, those 4-year cycles as I spoke about, stack as much fiat, shitty Australian pesos fiat as you can, right, and stables, and then we're going to reinvest in the next cycle. That's where you can really multiply your wealth. That's hand in hand with it not being patient enough. That's really important. Doing it solo as well. One of the best things I had is obviously the team around me. We've got a team of 12. Most of them are amazing analysts. Having an accountability group. If you've got a mate, that's hopefully a little bit less degenerate than you, right? Keeps your head switched on and it keeps you accountable. Obviously, you can all just join Collective Shift and we'll help you, but or you can get a friend. So let's create your own crypto strategy. So we're going to go through a 10-step process here. This is what I take through all of my clients. I have 95 high net worth clients. These guys have and girls between 250,000. My top client has nearly probably 40 million now, and we go through this process. Let's do it. Okay, so first one is just what does your portfolio look like? No shit, I've spoken to people that have no idea where their stuff is, right? They don't know where it is. It's on some ledger. It's on some wallet. It's Phantom this, Phantom that, MetaMask, don't know. just bring everything together and understand what the hell's going on, right? Put it in order. Now, once you've got a list, you also want to look at like the sectors that you're in, because a big thing that people overlook is they have a bunch of coins and then they realize they're all on Solana or all on ETH, right? And if you've been like heavy ETH over the last year or so, you're probably struggling. So look at your current portfolio. Are you over risk, under risk, diversification? Now, next one. What are your crypto goals? My goal is literally to be financially free, right? If I want to retire after this, I can. I don't want to because I love it. But I want to buy my parents' property. I want to get into property, and I know exactly what amount of money I need after tax to do all these things, right? Really understand your goals. Try and put a number, next to it. If you can achieve your goals, what I also like to do is have a bearish, a base, and a bullish goal. Think of it like a game, like checkpoints. Like on the way up, you want to check off these things, right? What's the worst case scenario you walk away with this bull market? Like if everything goes to shit, what's the minimum you want to do, right? Base goal, bullish goal. Try and tick them all off. What is your time horizon? I know, some people are like, maybe investing in their SMSF. Maybe some of you are younger. Maybe you have short-term financial goals you need to achieve. Try and understand your time horizon. Know that I think the next year is probably going to be the most prosperous, but then we've got cycles to come. People have very short-term, thinking in crypto. Crypto's not going to die after this cycle. It's going to go again. We're going to have new narratives, new shit that we need to figure out. What's your risk appetite? Right, this is a big one. On that 30% correction, when it happens, I know it's going to happen. We're going to hit maybe 120, 130, 150 US, and it's just going to get wiped out. All the longs will get crazy. Everyone thinks you're going to be rich, and all of a sudden we're back to 100, and you're probably going to go, oh, fuck, I should have taken profits, right? That's the risk appetite. If you're over-allocated, that's where you need to start to adjust, take profits, or maybe reduce your risk. Put some more Bitcoin in, maybe hold some stables. Reduce your altcoin risk if needed. Short-term and long-term, I just spoke about this. You can actually split these up. Like I have a long-term Bitcoin holding. I know a lot of people do. Stack that away. Don't touch it. Have a meme coin strategy. I know there's a lot of platinum, of our clients in the room that love the meme coins. Put a bit of money to that, right? But try and separate it so you don't just bundle the whole thing up and screw it up. Have you reviewed your cryptocurrencies? Cold the crap. This was an important one maybe, a month ago. You know those coins that you've had for like 4 years and you're just hoping they just go up, but you've got like $200 in? Like, even if it's 5Xs, it's not really worth anything. I have a rule for me. I try and have a minimum of 0.5% of my portfolio in a coin. That way, like if it actually goes up, it's meaningful and I'm going to take profits. If you have a little bit, I'd rather just consolidate and put into some assets that will actually make a difference to my end goal. Where are your cryptocurrencies stored? This is probably not as important anymore. Like the exchanges have finally got their shit together, so you can hopefully not get rugged. I have all of my stuff on a cold wallet though. I do recommend that, but I know how hard it is. That is one of the things that, it still fathoms me that the hardware in this space is still awful. But I think the exchanges are really good. Just make sure you've got two-factor authentication on. That's a big one. The most common likelihood that you'll get hacked is actually not the exchange anymore, it's you. So you need to make sure you have those, passwords on. Don't use some random, word. Try and have 2FA on as well. What's your buy strategy? Who's bought crypto in the last 2 weeks? Yeah, cool. So much more fun to buy when it's up, right? Really important you have a bit of money set to the side. Always say have some stables, have some dry powder. Just makes it a little bit easier, all right? But don't get carried away. Who bought ICOs back in the day? Nice. Who still owns any ICO from back in the day? Nope, 0. NFTs? Anyone buy NFTs? No, okay, a few. Okay. Right, these metas come and go, and that's what I'm trying to, just remind you that these things are going to come and go, like gaming, has, and I think it will come back, but I'm just saying these things come and go, so you need to make sure you take profits and don't go too hard on these new narratives when they pop up. Now, your sales strategy. This is a really big one. Sales strategy is a lot easier with Bitcoin, in my opinion. It's easy, have some numbers, 120, 130, whatever. But like, we don't know how crazy this shit's going to get, and I think it's going to get pretty crazy, in my opinion, which is amazing, but again, you don't want a round trip. All right, so what I like to do with my altcoins is I have some sort of market cap, projection. Again, if you're investing on the paramount of something being cheap, because the token is cheap, that does not make sense. It's not a thing. Market cap or FDV, fully diluted value, is what you need to be looking at. Some of the biggest projects from last cycle, I don't want to shout them out because I might get in trouble. Their FDV and the amount of circulating supply that's come in over the last year has completely wiped out their ability to ever get anywhere near the all-time high, or it's going to take a long time. All right, so you need to be looking at not only the project, what it is, the roadmap, the team, all this sort of stuff, but fundamentals and the tokenomics are really important because a lot of these have massive inflation, and as they have massive inflation, just like the Australian pesos, it goes down in value. All right, if you've got a lot of money, I really recommend using something like OTC or over the counter. If you're selling more than $25,000 or $50,000, most of the exchanges have OTC. Make sure you get onto that. Just be careful when you're using some of these centralized exchanges. These guys make pretty good money with the spreads and the fees, yeah? And if you're using a lot of money, you can get chopped out a lot. Also, the other thing with sell strategy is knowing what you're going to sell your stuff into. Like, are you going into stable coins? Are you going to fiat? Are you rotating into Bitcoin? Just be careful with tax. The ATO loves us when we make money. When you're rotating between coins, if you say taking profits from altcoins into Bitcoin, which is not a bad move, but you're going to get taxed at that price that you sell, and then if that Bitcoin goes down or altcoins go down that you sell into, and you're left with a massive tax bill, and the new thing you just bought's down, now you're screwed, right? So just make sure you're putting that money aside for tax. I think that's it. I'm trying to think anything else in the sell strategy. Tax and structure, this is also really important. Try and get some tax support. There's different structures you can use. I'm not a tax professional, but there's some amazing people out here. Try and get that dialed in. There's different ways you can really save on tax. Because again, the tax man loves us here in Australia. So I've just put together a PDF. That's got all those 10 steps with a bunch of links and resources. I don't want your email. It's nothing. It's just, honestly, it's a PDF. You can print it out. You can fill it out. And it's got a lot more details on each of those 10 steps. Take a photo of that. Cool. I think we're, if you want to work with me, we're super busy, but you can book that as well. And then I'm done. Thank you.
Well, Ben, how good is he? Never fails to make CryptoCon curious. I asked you all, who's feeling more curious than before they came in here? Because I definitely am. Who's got a question they would like to ask Ben? If not, I've got some, so don't worry. Oh, over there, okay. Sound guy, the nicest person in the room because he's sound. Can you make sure this is on? Where are you? Sorry. You going to catch it? Are you ready? Are you ready? Lady with hand up.
It's heavy.
Oh. That was scary.
Is this a microphone? Oh, God, do I talk? Oh,
make sure you hold it still.
So I just wanted to ask, what makes us think that the next cycle will be the same as previous cycles when we've got more retail investors coming in, institutions coming in? It's a different landscape, right?
Good question.
Yeah, 100%. I do think it's different, and that's why it's in the stock market, saying this time is different is always scary. But no, I do think it's very different. I think like the last mini bull market we had, in 2021 was stunted by FTX and Luna. Like arguably, I don't know if anyone remembers when we got to 65 or 68, I was like, fuck, we're going on 100, right? And then everything just broke. I do think that's now we've finally got, especially in the US, Donald Trump's, he tried to acquire a crypto exchange recently. Like he's literally trying to put crypto advisors around to buy Bitcoin in their treasury. Like the US government, if they buy 1 million Bitcoin, like that's 1/21st of the supply. Like it's fundamentally different. So yeah, we're going higher.
Hands up. Does that answer your question? Oh, okay. Quick
I didn't answer it. Okay.
Question then.
Does it work? Oh. So, but what I mean is, will we repeat a 4-year cycle with the bear market in between? Now that the playing field is different, or will get out of alts, but will the whole thing change that you can't use the past as prediction for the future?
Look, I don't have a crystal ball. What I believe is, yes, I do think the 4-year cycle will still play in, but it's also always been overlaid by the halving, the macro cycles, and human psychology. Like when things get super chaotic and super bubbly, people get wiped out. We're in a market. We're all versing each other here. Like people are going to win and people are going to lose, and when you lose hard, it's hard to come back into the market with confidence. So when things get super euphoric, I think it's going to refresh, and I could be completely wrong, but that's what I think.
Cool. Are you able to throw it to this man here? Stand up, give it a good... Were you a netballer?
We were two blocky
we
things.
got two. Sweet.
There we go.
Thank you so much.
KO.
Hello.
Oh, you okay?
Hey, my name is Abdullah. So my question is, why are there even cycles in the crypto space? When you compare the cryptocurrency cycles to the stock market cycle, for example, there isn't really that much of a violent cycle when it comes to the stock market. I mean, when you look at the stock market's performance in the past 10 to 20 years, it's just all been uphill with very little downtrends compared to the cryptocurrency cycle. So my question is, why do cycles exist in the crypto sphere?
Yeah, I think like if you look back in the early dot-com era, right, when Amazon and stuff was going, like it was massive volatility because it was such a new space and the market caps were so small. And I think that's what we're seeing here in crypto. Like over time, I think the cycles will get like less volatile. Essentially, crypto will become like the stock market. But there's so much euphoria in this space and you make so much money. The counter is true and you can lose a lot. And again, that's why it comes back to human psychology, the halving, the supply. It's just, I don't think it's like one answer. I think it's like a bunch of different answers. But really, the halving cycle has continued to be true, and I think it will be. I don't know if that answers your question.
While we're waiting for our next question person, you mentioned in your presentation 99% exposed. Can you explain that a little bit for the people who have come here for the first time today? What did you mean by that?
I'm basically screwed if crypto goes down. That's what I mean. No, so essentially all my money, wealth, investments are in crypto. I don't own property. I don't own stocks. Everything's been in there for my business. Everything's in crypto for the last 7 or 8 years. Yeah.
If I may, does that mean you get labelled as a libertarian?
I don't know. You can call me what you want.
I just want to call you Ben because I think you're a unique individual and that is amazing. Is anyone else like actively more interested in getting a whole Bitcoin than they are a property? Just show of hands if you feel that way. Okay. Wow. Interesting. Why? Rhetorical, by the way. Okay, cool. Any other questions from the audience? If not, I've got a few ready. Oh, we got a man over here. Can we throw to him, please? Thank you. Oh, yeah.
So I was wondering, right? It's kind of from what I understand, a bit later in the bull market. So I was wondering, like, from me, I lost my money to FTX and I'm going back into it.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah. And I was wondering, how much, like, percentage of my money is it worth putting towards crypto? I have great parents. I can afford to lose quite a lot. So, yeah. Yeah.
So how much of your money or your parents' money?
My money.
Okay. Look, I think the common thing is just like whatever you're willing to lose. That's essentially it. But like if you've been burning crypto, I fully understand like it hurt a lot of people. I would just probably focus on the longer term assets, like just stacks and Bitcoin, man. Like you can play around with the more volatile stuff. I think we've probably got 6 to 9 months to go, but Bitcoin beyond that's going to keep running up. And maybe chat to your parents about how much you can invest.
Also, just so I don't get caught again, what's the best like crypto wallets?
Ledger or Trezor. Just move it out of an exchange into a cold wallet. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Ledger are here. You should go check them out. There's a question at the back while we do this. You mentioned this in your prezzo. You said to your mum, and I had already written down the question, how would you explain crypto to your mum? So I'm going to change that and say, how did you convince her to act on it? What was the differing factor? Because she's committed by the sounds of it. Is that right?
Yeah, when I went home and told mum about Bitcoin, you know, she had no idea. I think it was when the market started going up that she started to pay attention. But my mum and dad don't own a house. They've rented their whole life. And I just explained to them money, like why fiat currency goes down in value, why inflation happens, and why Bitcoin solves all of that. And that's how I fell in love with the space, and that's how I always explain it.
How are you feeling about CBDCs then? Last year, it was a hot topic in Melbourne. You were there for that as well.
Yeah, I hate CBDCs.
Do you want to share some...
CBDCs are essentially central bank digital currencies, so they are just government or bank-owned cryptocurrencies, which is the absolute opposite of why we're all here. So yeah, I hate them, and I will never use them.
Out of interest, while I have your attention, if we were on the gold standard in Australia, would you feel differently about that answer?
About CBDCs?
No, so if the dollar was pegged to $1 worth of gold or $1 worth of copper, would you feel better about it then?
I don't know, I've never thought about it. We went off that 60 years ago.
Yeah, fair enough, we did. Another question from the audience. We've still got 5 minutes, which is actually some decent time with Ben. Yes, okay, a few hands. Good. You good people.
Hey, how you doing? Question. In previous cycles, there seemed to be more of an emphasis of when projects were coming into play, there was some kind of reasoning behind that. Where I'm finding that in this current cycle, there seems to be a larger proportion of meme coins coming into play, which basically have absolutely no function whatsoever. And I guess I'm trying to get a better understanding in terms of why that is in terms of the broader scheme of things. It seems that there is a greater emphasis of speculation more than anything else, and it kind of leads into some kind of, I don't know, greater outlook in terms of how the broader economy is going.
Yeah, so two answers. One is that it's super easy to create now, like pump.fun on Solana. Like you can literally just go click 3 buttons and create a meme coin. That's never been possible before. And number 2, speculation and gambling is just like ingrained in humans, and the ability to make a shitload of money really fast is way more exciting than buying Bitcoin and holding for 10 years. So it's the ease of access and the reasoning of people wanting to change their lives is the reason why, in my opinion.
Another question? Chuck it behind you. Oh.
Does this work? Okay.
Yes.
When the last Bitcoin has been mined, 21 million, what is the motivation for miners to continue the network? What will allow miners to be profitable after all of its mines?
Solid question, by the way.
It's a very solid question. You know what? I'm going to not give you a good answer because the reality is I don't know. When the 21 millionth Bitcoin is mined, it's 120, 140 years away. Yeah. I think it's nearly potentially the same answer as like why quantum computing, and they're potentially, you know, what the downsides or fear is of that. I just think they will figure it out and update the Bitcoin network to continue the economics of it, because there's so much economic value, they're all incentivized to figure it out. I know that's a roundabout answer. I don't know is the answer.
Some more, if it's on still. Do you think fees will help?
Yeah, 100%.
So fees will be the motivator, you think?
100%. I think that would make the most sense. Yeah.
That would involve a fork. Is that correct? That would involve a fork. A community.
Oh, yeah, we
fork.
don't want to get into that just yet, but
okay. We'll leave that alone. Pandora's box. Question at the back behind you, sir. Can you please throw it well? Solid. Let it settle. Hold it still. Good. No good. Oh, just wait a sec. AV guys will sort you out. Whoa, where's mic number 2?
Blockchain's gone down.
Well, we can't hear you. Just 2 seconds. There you go.
Sorry about that. Can you give us a quick rundown of the services you offer from Collective Shift?
I love that. I did not put you in the crowd, I swear.
Pay me after.
Yeah, so there's 2 ways we work with you. One is our pro membership. So essentially, I'm trying to build the morning star of crypto. I want to build a place where people can get independent research and information. The only way we make money is through subscription fees. We don't do advertising or sponsorship, affiliate links. We don't do any of that. It's only through the subscription fees. So you essentially sign up and you see what we invest in, our token ratings, all of our analyst data, and then you can make, we do live sessions. You essentially just copy us and invest alongside us. And then the other service is we have our platinum membership, and our platinum is for high net wealth, so you have to have a minimum of $250,000 to join. We are very, very long in terms of the waiting list on that. I have 95 clients at the moment, and probably capping that at about 100. But yeah, you got to have a minimum of $250,000, and that's in-person events, private WhatsApp group, strategy sessions with me. We do in-person stuff, networking. Yeah.
So what you're saying is there's no current way to copy trade you?
You can see what I invest in the platform, but you still have to execute yourself. Yeah.
Which is good, I think. Yeah. Good line.
Thanks for that question, man.
Anyone else? Time for one. We've got 1 minute. Man at the front.
Ben?
Oh, microphone's there already. Go.
Hi. Hi, Ben. Do you think IDOs and launchpads would still do good next year?
Speak up.
IDOs and launchpads for new projects?
Yeah, I haven't really been big in that space, so like I wouldn't be able to give you a great answer. One of our team would be way better to answer that, but it's not an area that I'm hugely bullish on. Yeah. Come and talk to our analysts, though. They're probably way deeper in that space. Sorry.
30 seconds. One more cheeky one. Down here at the front, throw it hard. Throw it. 10 seconds to think about throwing. Come on.
Hello. Yes. Yes, Ben. So my question is regarding the holding. So you mentioned that we should be holding some part of the Bitcoin during the downturn for long terms, right? But you have not mentioned anything about the popular altcoins. So is it because you don't trust them, or is it because they are subject to severe corrections during the downturn?
Yeah, just in a bear market, historically altcoins way underperform the market, so everything retraces. Bitcoin goes down 30 or 40%. Most alts have done down to 90%, 95%.
Okay.
And I could just never sell all my Bitcoin. I'm too in love with it, so like only sell half.
If I may add on that as well, Dave, founder of CryptoCon, his advice always is protect your capital. And so I think, Ben, what you've shown us today is testament to that. Thank you so much. You're a good man.
Thank you.